Hello, everybody. This is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and dang. Anyway, this is going to be my review for Cells at Work, episodes 5, 6, and 7. Um, Episode 5 covers a pollen allergen, where everybody essentially, does their job the way they're supposed to, and this causes destruction all around the area, and they start blaming each other because, they think it's their fault, like someone didn't do their job right. And, yeah. Because they're really lucky that this person didn't have a very bad case of allergy to pollen. Because if they did, they could have gone into anaphylactic shock. And I'm guessing that the allergy was bad enough to need steroids because that is what shows up and essentially causes destruction everywhere, attacking everybody, but it looks like it ends up getting rid of the inflammation that was going on and the congestion, so all that destruction, I don't know if that was worth it or not. But yeah, they're lucky that it wasn't a more severe case of allergies, because anaphylactic shock is not a good thing. And next episode, we get to see how new cells are created and how they how they get picked to be what they are. Because we see our red blood cell being born as a stem cell, and being chosen to be a red blood cell. And I'm guessing that's for every single cell in the bone marrow. And they get trained on what red blood cells do, and they all have these little poofy hats with a little bob on top. And apparently, the bob is the nucleus that that gets taken out when they become an actual red blood cell. But right now, they are erythroblasts. I don't remember what white blood cells are before they become white blood cells. I can't remember the name of it, but obviously, her sense of direction is just as bad when she's a kid as when she's older. You get what I'm saying. And she still is in the school somehow, yet ends up encountering a germ that tries, to eat her. And the immature white blood cell that we know of as white blood cell today, the one that always helps her out, shows up and tries to defend her. But thankfully, the white blood cell that was her teaching assistant, the one who was pretending to be the bacteria, came and saved them, thankfully. And I'm kind of surprised that she hasn't figured out yet that that's the same one that saved her all those years ago. But whatever. Like she said, there's trillions of cells in that body, so it's it'd be too much of a coincidence for that to be the same one. And yet I think it is the same one. Anyway, next episode is the big one. It covers cancer cells. Excuse me. And we get to see the NK cells and the killer T cells. NK cells doesn't get along with the killer T cell. And the guy who apparently saw the cancer cells offers to show them where he saw them at, because there's more than one, and we all know cancer cells can multiply a lot. And I think regular cells are created through copiers. The white blood cells, the red blood cells, all the immune cells and all that, those are made in the bone marrow. But regular cells, like just regular cells in general, are made apparently through copiers in this show. And it turns out that the cell that guided them there was actually a cancer cell in disguise. And the way it's portrayed in this show, cancer cells are regular cells that had a bit of a defect in their copying, essentially. And thus cannot help, what their genetic makeup is and what they do, essentially. And I guess you could kind of say that in regular cancer cells, because, yeah, they are essentially. Dang it. Let me look that up actually, real quick. The more you know, guys. Okay, let me see. A cancer cell, let's see. Oh, go away, you stupid thing. Cancer, in which abnormal cells divide without control and can invade nearby tissue. Cancer cells can also spread through other parts of the body through the blood and lymph systems. Yeah. Yeah, they are abnormal cells that essentially reproduce without any kind of filter, I'm guessing, some kind of control over it. So that's why they can reproduce out of control, essentially. And they end up taking nutrients and energy from other cells, and thus why people with cancer usually, feel fatigued, they feel tired and all that, because they don't have the energy, because the cancer cells are all taking it away from the rest of their body, which is shown through all the red blood cells delivering tons of food and nutrients and all that to that complex where the cancer cells are inhabiting. Sorry. White blood cell, killer T cell, and NK cell are really having a hard time against him, and the way that things are going at the moment, it is very clear that this could metastasize, which means it could spread throughout the body if they can't stop him. Essentially, that is what his goal is. He said essentially his goal is he was born to die, because when he, essentially kills off the world he is in, he is going to die anyway, because they will all die, because the body will die, because the person will die, because of cancer. So that is ultimately what he is planning on doing. Thankfully, red blood cell sees all this going on and contacts the rest of the backup that they would need, and all the immune cells show up and work on helping him. And apparently, from what I've heard, this is only like speculation or a rumor or whatever, that NK cells get stronger through laughter, which is why people say, laughter is the best medicine. I don't know if that's actually true or not. I don't know if it's been I don't think it's been proven by science completely. But yeah, they showed this off in it, and yeah, I kind of feel bad for that cancer cell in the show, but in reality, I don't feel bad for cancer at all. I mean, and no, it's not. It's just doing what its genetics are telling it to do, which is essentially a defect in its genetics, which is making it go out of whack and everything. And thus it has no. Well, then again, cells don't have feelings, but they can't, dictate what they do. They can't act like normal cells. They can't do what normal cells do. They go out of control. And this guy is claiming that he's going to be back, and thus remission. I don't know how far the cancer had spread in the body in that world, but we hadn't seen any, chemotherapy or anything, so I'm guessing it was destroyed before it could possibly get to that point where the person would need chemotherapy and, all that stuff. And I don't think we've ever gotten an answer as to how old the body is that they're living in, but I'm guessing it's a young person, because we haven't encountered all the darker things that are in cells that work code black, like smoking, eating bad foods, drinking. So I'm guessing it's at least a kid or a teenager, something like that. But yeah, the cancer cell will most likely be back with a vengeance, because season 2 has some episodes for cancer. So yeah. Anyway, I am gonna get this uploaded, and I will see you all next time.